Today concept
Yeah.
name is today concept name is very easy concept, simple concept. Dynamic handling file system.
Yeah.
Today concept name is dynamic handling file system.
Mm-hmm.
Dynamic handling file system. Sounds coming below. Dynamic handling file system. What is dynamic handling file system? Before going to dynamic handling file system, first of all, we should know what is flat file. Flat file means it doesn't have any predefined format. That is called flat file. Example, notepad or text document. First concept, dynamic handling file system concept. Before going to dynamic handling file system concept, first of all, we should know what is flat file. Flat file means it doesn't have any predefined format. It doesn't have any predefined format. That's the reason we can say it is a flat file. So example, notepad or text document. What is dynamic handling file system concept? First, we should know what is file system. What is file system? If you want to create a new file in file system, if you want to create a new file in file system, new file in file system. If you want to create a new file in file system, comma, if you want to write the data into the file, write the data into the file in file system, comma, if you want to get the data from file system, if you want to get the data from file in file system, we will use file system concept. Without going to D drive or E drive, directly through code, we can create a new file in file system. We can write the data into the file in file system. If we want to get the data from file in file system, we will use file system concept. So, without going to D drive, E drive, through code, we can create a new file. We can write the data into the file. We can get the data from file. For that, we will use this concept, file system concept. So, very easy concept to simple concept. So for that we are using five predefined classes. For that we are using five predefined classes. For that we are using five predefined classes. One is file, next file writer, buffered writer, file reader, buffered reader. So we are using five predefined classes file, file writer, buffer writer, file reader, buffer reader. So what is file where we can use? So file is used for we can create a new file in file system. We can create a new file in file system. File writer, we can write the data into the file in file system. We can write the data into the file in file system. If we write only file writer, we unable to write the data into the file system. Compulsory we should take the reference from buffer writer. Then only we can able to write the data into the file system. Only for this logic purpose, only for this logic purpose we are learning this concept. So if you use only file writer, we can't write the or we unable to write the data into the file system. Compulsory we should take the reference from buffer writer. Then only we can able to write the data into the file in file system. So that's the reason we are using this concept. Next, file reader. If you want to read the data from file in file system. If you write only file reader, we unable to read the data from file system. Compulsory we should take the reference from buffer reader. We should take the reference from buffer reader. Then only we can able to read the data from file system. So only one logic. If you write file writer, unable to write the data into the file system, compulsory we should take buffer writer reference. Then only we can able to get the data from file. Write the data into the file in file system. If you want to read the data from file, so if you write only file reader, we unable to read the data from file system. Compulsory we should take the reference from buffer reader. This is the concept. This logic we will use in Selenium indirectly. Only this logic we will use in Selenium indirectly. Okay, right. What is the concept? We will discuss through code, some programming part. Yesterday only. Yesterday means at night 11 o'clock. Same concept. Charita madam. Charita madam. Charita. Your name is Savita. Her name is Charita. Charita madam. So 11 o'clock, night 11 o'clock, just completed. Right. Today concept name is file. Go to SRC, take the new class. Class name is file. File is a predefined class. Take the spell mistake. Keep the mark public static void main. Click on finish. Now I want to create a new file in file system. How to create the file in file system? File f equal to new file. I want to create a data. I want to create a file where in the D column. So we should use double slash madam. If you want to import the data or export the data. Now I am exporting. So I'm creating one file. So in D column. So we should use double slash compulsory. If it is Java or Selenium, if you want to import the data and export the data, compulsory we should write double slash. Right. I created one file. That file name is Savita. So f dot create new file. So this line is not important. If you want to write it, you can write it. Otherwise, you can leave it. So this is not important. File is a predefined class. Java.io. We need to import the statements. Compulsory. File is a predefined class. So how we know, sir? File is a predefined class. How we know file is a predefined class? That's your question. After writing file, it will show you underline. Just we need to keep the mark and we need to import statements. Right. I created one file. Next, I want to write the data into the file. file writer fw equal to new file writer. So where I want to write the data in the D columns of the file. So write. Only if we write file writer, unable to write the data into the file. Compulsory we should take reference from buffer writer. Buffered writer BW equal to new buffer writer. New buffer writer FW. So I'm keeping the connection between file and buffer writer. File writer and buffer writer. Only for this logic purpose we are learning this concept. We are creating the connection between file writer and buffer writer. Here, file is a predefined class, file writer also predefined class. So after writing the file writer, it will show you underline. Just we need to import the statements. File writer java.io, file writer java.io, buffer writer, buffered writer, change it to buffered writer, right, buffered writer, right. Next, if you want to write the data into the file, compulsory with the help of buffer writer only we can write it. Buffer writer bw dot write. You want to write any message, we can write it. Good morning, madam. So if you want to write the new line, so flat file. Why I said flat file? So if you want to write the data into the flat file continuously, it will take. If you write continuously 1 year also, it will take into continuously. It will not come next line. If you want come next line, so then we will use bw dot new line. Bw dot write by madam. Next, if you want once again, if you want write the data with the help of buffer writer only, we can write buffer writer data. In between the compulsory, we should write new line bw dot new line. Right. So we wrote the data into the file. After writing the data, so here it is showing a number of underlines. So these are exceptions. These are exceptions. Whenever you are using predefined classes, automatically we can get exceptions. If you want to handle all the exceptions, just keep the cursor on any underline. So add throws declaration. At a time we can handle all the throws. So yesterday we discussed one concept exception only. What is the drawback of try and catch? If you have doubt on any particular block, we should write try and catch. What is the drawback in try and catch? If you have doubt on only particular block, that time we can use try and catch. If you have doubt on multiple blocks that multiple times we should write try and catch, program will be lengthy. Instead of try and catch, always we will use throws. How to add the throws? Once again, I will show you. Concentrate, ma. So after writing the code, it will sorry, control jet. After writing the code, it will show you number of exceptions. So if you want to handle all the exceptions at a time, we will use throws. That's the reason yesterday I didn't show you any throws example. Here we are getting number of throws, add throws declaration, IO exception, IO exception. After writing the code, compulsory we should write bw.flush. It can hold the data. Without flush, it cannot hold the data. Compulsory we should write flush. Flush, we can hold the data. Without writing flush, it will not save the data. It cannot hold the data. Now save, click on run. Go and check it in D column. Savita file will created. Savita. Savita text file. Good morning, madam. Bye, madam. Tata, madam. Every time I don't want to go to D drive and I don't want to see the data. So I want to get the data now. I want to get the data now. I want to get the data now. How to get the data? So we created one file and we wrote the data into the file. And now I want to get the data. How to get the data? File writer, file reader. FR equal to new file reader. Control V. Where is the data? In the D colon Savita folder. I want to read the data now. Read the data now. Buffer reader, BR equal to new buffer reader. FR. Now we can get the data. So first, before going to get the data, so data is there or not, I want to check. Here we will use boolean. Boolean is in future there is no chance to implement boolean, so just here this two lines is not very important. Now I am want to write boolean. So data is there or not. If it is data there, then it will give true, otherwise it will give false. Boolean b equal to br dot ready. Ready method is used for data is there or not, it will check. If it is data there, it will give true. If it is data there, it will give true. Right. Data there or not. First, I want to check. After that, I want to get the data. File reader, buffer reader. Now, these two lines not important. So just data is there or not. So it will check. Ready method is used for data is there or not. If it is there, it will give true. True. It is giving true. That means data is there. So what is the data I want to get now? So then we will use for loop. Then we will use while loop. While br dot ready, br dot ready. Br means buffer reader. Br dot ready. So if it is data there, store in one string. String is equal to br dot read line. SYSO control space Yes. Save. Click on run. Yes. True. Good morning, madam. Bye, madam. Tata. So this is the concept to dynamic handling file system concept. Here through code, we can create a new file in file system. We can write the data into the file in file system. We can get the data from file in file system. We will use file system concept. For that we are using 5 predefined classes: file, file reader, buffer reader, file reader, buffer reader. This is the concept to dynamic handling file system concept. Okay, over madam. Without going to D drive, so we can create a new file. We can write the data into the file. We can get the data from file. We will use file system concept. Dynamic handling file system concept. Dynamic handling file system concept. Right. Okay. Concept is over mark. So we can write the data. We can get the data through code only. Through code only, we can create a file and write the data into the file. We can get the data from file. That is the concept of dynamic handling file system concept. Any doubts, madam? Up to now? No. Right. Today next concept name is today next concept name is reflection API. Next concept name is reflection API. API means application programming interface. Application programming interface. What is API? API contains some set of predefined classes. API contains some set of predefined classes. Among them, one of the class method class. What is the use of method class? Method class reference can hold any other method in the specified class. Method class reference can hold any other method in the specified class using same reference. We can invoke that method. We can invoke that method. Method class reference can hold any other method in the specified class using same reference. We can invoke that method. So that is the use of method class. Very important concept, madam. Here we can get number of exceptions. So how to handle that exceptions I will show you. So here notes. If you want call the non-static function, if you want to call the not static function in same class, or if you want to call from another class, we need to create the reference. you need to create the reference. If you want, if it is non-static function, if you want to call in same class, or if you want call from another class, we need to create the reference. We need to create the reference. Okay, right. Second point, if it is static, if you want call the static function, if you want to call the static function in same class, we can call directly. If you want call from another class, if you want call from another class, so we will use syntax. Syntax. What is the syntax? Class name dot function name. 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 We can use this syntax. Class name dot function name. Class name dot function name. Right. Go to reflection API. I'm creating one file. Go to SRC, take the new class only. I'm creating one file. File name is API. Sorry, I'm taking one class name API. I'm declaring one function, public static void login. I want to call this function login function. SYSO control space login. This function I want to call from another class. Save. So go to SRC, take the new class. Class name is double X. Existed triple X. Okay, keep the mark public static void menu. Click on finish. I want to call that function. How we can call? So already we have one syntax. Already just now we discussed class name dot function name. Class name API dot function name login. Directly we can call. This is the way. This is the mass way. Already we know. But today concept is method class. I want to use method class. So how we can call now? I want to use method class. If you want call that login function from this class, how we can call? So already we know this syntax. If you want call, you can call it. Save, click on run it. So login will come. Login. Okay. Now I want to call from another class using method class reference. So how we can call? Method reference name m equal to first to store in one variable. Please comment it. First take one string is equal to login. Method m equal to API dot class dot get method. S SYSO. No need of this. M dot invoke M. Enough. After writing the code, we are getting underlines, add throws declaration. First, the no such method exception, security exception. Still, it is showing underline. Keep the cursor on line. Add throws declaration. Illegal access exception. Illegal argument exception. Invocation target exception. These are the exceptions available in Java. Save, click on run. Log in here. So it will print. So whatever your logic you mentioned, log in here. Save, come to triplex. Save, click on run. Log in here. Oh no, triplex. What is the logic we wrote? Log in here. Compulsory should print like previous class it is executing. What happened? Save, click on run. No, no, no. Akhil login. Okay, okay. API, AP double I. Save, Akhil login. So this is the concept. This is the concept to reflection API. This is also very important concept. Very important concept to reflection API also. This is the second concept. So if you want call the static function from another class, so directly we have one syntax class name dot function name. So that is the mass way. If you want to call the static function from another class, we will use method class. What is the method class? Method class reference can hold any other method in the specified class. Using same reference, we can invoke that method. So here, using method class reference only we are invoking. So method reference name M, previous class name AB double I, dot class get method S. What is S? So string. So M dot invoke M. We can call that function. So here we can get 5 exceptions. No such method exception, security exception, illegal access exception, illegal argument exception, invocation target exception. That is the reflection API concept. Any doubt, madam? Just you need to practice, madam. Then you can get doubts. Compulsory. Just practice these two concepts only. More than enough. Hmm. You can come out and you can talk with me now.